We're staying with May Day celebrations. A division in the Nigeria Labour Congress, which has brought about a parallel leadership at the national level, appears to have affected the cohesion which usually follows the celebrations in the country. In states like Benue, Osun, Kogi and Ebonyi, where salaries are owed, the workers are appealing for a consideration to their plight. Our correspondent, Yomi Otaigbe, in this report looks at May Day celebrations across the country.
Since 1978, when the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, was founded, Nigerian workers in their millions usually gather under one umbrella to celebrate the May Day. It's usually with excitement as the workers come in different colors to mark the day. But this year is different, as the union's leadership crisis has forced the body to hold parallel celebrations, one in Lagos and another in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. This situation appears to have weakened the unity with which the workers make their demands, as the state chapters of the NLC are left to their fate.
Well, I think we are facing a challenge. We cannot pretend that all is well with the labor movements in the country. And this factionalization is an indication that somebody is aggrieved. And somebody that's aggrieved definitely has to give way so that he can be able to express himself. So I think it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in such a situation.
The workers file out at the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, with the governor, Ibikunle Amosun, promising them better working conditions, but warns against indiscipline in the civil service.
Let me assure you all that the next 4 years is a new dawn for continuous positive development for our workforce. We are fully aware of the vital position occupied by the workers, and we continually implement programs that will make our workforce happy. We desire a legacy of being remembered as the most worker-friendly administration in this country.
In Nasarawa State, the preoccupation of the governor, Tanko Almakura, is how to better the wages of the workers. In Kaduna, Nigeria's northwest region, the event was low-keyed, with the state chairman of NLC seeking better working relations with the authorities.
You can't be working for 6 hours and you're not be enjoying your lift transport. At times people will say lift transport drive is not a right but a privilege. But if all workers are enjoying, I don't see any reason why the local government council chairman, local government workers cannot enjoy it, because all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others.
In Cross River, Rivers and Delta states, where a change of guard is expected, the workers there say they are looking forward to a more cordial working relationship between the government and the workers.
As much as I would like to develop projects and bring more development to our communities, our urban and rural areas, security and so on, healthcare delivery, improvement in education, quality of education, payment of WAEC fees, all of that are priorities. But to my mind, those are not as important a priority as paying workers their salaries.
In Adamawa State, also in Nigeria's northern region, the 2015 Workers' Day celebration took place at the Mahmoud Ribadu Square in Yola, with NLC members and the trade unions in attendance.
Sometimes last year, teachers of primary school were asked to sacrifice their TSS and allowance meant to improve the teaching and quality of service of teachers in Adamawa State. But the local government went ahead to suspend the payment of TSS on the grounds that the funds received from the allocation is dwindling. Your Excellency, we want to advise here. If the finances will dwindle, let it not affect the wages of work.
I assure you that this government is equally determined to continue improving the living conditions of workers in this state.
This is an unusual May Day celebration, and for experts in labor affairs, there's need for the NLC to resolve its misunderstanding if the union is to remain vibrant and a formidable force to challenge the government of the day where wrong policies are initiated.
Staying with worker welfare, staff of the Federal Medical Center Owerri, under the auspices of the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, FMC Owerri chapter, have called on the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, to beam his searchlight on the recent activities at the center as it affects the staff and patients of the health institution. The association is protesting an alleged plan by the board and management of the center to privatize and commercialize some key departments, especially the laboratory and pharmacy departments, having succeeded in privatizing the mortuary, transport and laundry departments. However, the hospital's medical director, Dr. Angela Owakwem, has debunked the allegation, insisting there is a proposed public-private partnership to make the hospital's services more efficient and effective. We continue with May Day celebrations, which took a twist as a group of young Nigerian workers chose to commemorate the day by protesting in front of the South African High Commission in Lagos, adding their voices to calls adding their voices to calls on the government of that country to ensure the safety of lives and property of non-South Africans. Speaking on behalf of the group, Mr. Bemiyo Eyoyibo says the victims of the attacks in South Africa are citizens of countries who fought for the liberation of the country and the abolition of apartheid and do not deserve to be treated as such. Meanwhile, May Day was also celebrated across the world. Our next report focuses on Asia, where workers have held several demonstrations to demand better working conditions and higher minimum wage.
In Dakar, thousands of workers took to the streets to demand better working conditions, especially for those working in garment factories. The collapse of Rana Plaza shone a light on unsafe working conditions in the ready-to-wear industry. More than 1,100 workers were killed when the building collapsed in 2013, creating urgent demand for global retailers to do more to ensure the safety of their workers in Bangladesh, the world's second biggest garment exporter after China. We don't want to see any more Rana Plazas, no more Tazreen in Bangladesh. This means that we want to see the garment industry and the workers who work there have a safe working condition in Bangladesh. Our second demand is for our working condition as well as workers' wages to be higher than the present, because this is the highest foreign exchange earner for the country. In Taiwan, around 2,000 protesters rallied near the presidential office in the heart of the capital, Taipei, after marching through the street. They were urging the government to give them better working hours. Meanwhile, more than 1,000 activists marked Labor Day in the Philippines with a rally for higher wages. Protesters from different labor groups marched on streets carrying placards and banners urging the government to raise the minimum daily wage due to the rising cost of goods.
Nigerian teachers can begin to look forward to better days. Nigeria's Vice President-elect, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who was one of the key speakers at the platform Lagos today, promised that the incoming government will provide training for teachers, tackle poverty and fight corruption. Professor Osinbajo also promised to address the lingering power crisis in the country.
Concerned Nigerians from different walks of life got together in this forum with a common mindset of changing the country for the better. This forum, which has been on since 2009, is called The Platform, and this year's episode is focusing on business and governance.
Indeed, the lesson of history that I want to point out is this, that the task of maintaining strong and sturdy structures of a democratic order is unending.
The managing director of Goldman Sachs, Caroline Arnold, called on Nigerians to speak up and ask relevant questions, while also reminding leaders to seek feedback. Another keynote speaker, Leke Alda's comments seem to toe the same line as he urges Nigerians to build a database of knowledge and ideas.
For a team to achieve top performance, there must be honest and direct communication between a team and its leader. Team members must be encouraged to speak up and ask questions.
A business idea must have an economic model. If it lacks economic model, it is not a business idea, it's for an NGO.
Walking up to the podium, the Vice President-elect, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. He takes up a wide range of issues, from poverty alleviation, respect for the rule of law, piracy, and poor power supply, which he says he would fix.
Fixing power is quite serious business in our country at the moment, and there are several reasons. There are so many issues that need to be looked at, but we need to look at all of them quickly as possible, so that we can deliver power, because this is perhaps the major constraint to practically anything being done, especially in industry, in the creation of jobs. Small businesses simply cannot function. Big businesses cannot function. Most people know that the cost of power is about 40% of the cost of doing business in Nigeria. Far too high.
The Vice President-elect did not fail to include education reform in his to-do list, as he promises an intensive training for Nigerian teachers.
Even just reading and writing, presentation skills, being able to read well from primary school. And if you look at some of the methods of teaching people reading and writing, many of them are outdated. We need to teach new methods. We need to teach new methods. And in teaching those new methods, we need to teach the teachers themselves. So teacher training is big. Teacher training is very, very big.
These speeches may be quite inspiring, but Nigerians are definitely anxious to see how these motivational talks would give wings to development. And for the Vice President-elect, his account of stewardship starts counting from May 29th, when he joins the President-elect to take over the mantle of leadership.
When the News at 10 returns, Lafarge WAPCO Cement partners Nigerian Institute of Architects towards enhancing infrastructure nationwide. That will be in Business News. Please join us again.